So the next presentation will be in video, although some of the presenters are with us today live and could answer some questions. It will be about Alice is Missing and emotional accessibility.
Yes, Michael, if I can just say a few words. Sadly, our colleague Roxanne is feeling ill, so rather than just presenting on her behalf, we wanted to include her. But Kevser and myself are here and will be able to answer all your questions at the end. Thank you very much. Konbanwa, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. We are very happy to be here.
Since time is very limited and we imagine you're probably quite tired at this late hour, we decided to present an overview of our experience, our methods and discoveries, instead of summarizing the whole paper. We hope it gives you some additional insight if you choose to read it. First, we'd like to begin with a very short introduction. I'm Roxane Chartrand. I'm a PhD candidate and lecturer at Université de Montréal. And my main interest is the notion of agency, both in video games and in tabletop games as well.
Hi, I'm Güngör, PhD candidate at the University of Montreal and Paris 8 University, and also a lecturer. My interests are science fiction, philosophy, video games, and role-playing games.
And I'm Jean-Charles Ray. I've got PhDs both in comparative literature and film studies, and my main areas of interest are horror and the articulation of narration and game. We're all members of a research collective called the GORE, or ROGUE, in English, the Role-Playing Research and Observation Group. Among our diverse projects, this article was quite special to us because it was the first we led all three of us together, which was very exciting because we've been friends and colleagues for a while, and it's especially a game about friendship and co-creation. We're glad to say working on this project has been a very insightful and creative process, and we're already working on new research into tabletop role-playing games.
So first and foremost, why did we choose Alice is Missing? The game was particularly appealing to us because all three of us initially come from video game studies, and it has a lot in common with video games. Not only does Alice is Missing explicitly mention Life is Strange, a very popular video game series, as one of its sources of inspiration, it also allows for a very interesting bridge between role-playing games and digital play. The use of technology as the core game mechanic, in this case, written communication through instant messaging, seemed to somehow join our two interests together, but it also reminded us of other video games with similar mechanics, such as the Emily is Away series, in which the entirety of the game is played with an MSN Messenger, a very popular platform in the first decade of the 2000s. But also, we really wanted to play it. And even more so, we wanted to play it together and see where it would lead us research-wise.
The setting of our game was a bit special. As we're all researchers at University of Montreal, we decided to play Alice is Missing in our game lab called LUDOV, Video Games Observation and Documentation University Lab. And although it is a very ludic space, of course, it's usually a workplace and not one for leisure. Playing in a workplace for an emotional experience was quite challenging. We wanted to reclaim the place on an intimate level. We dimmed the lights, we rearranged the furniture, we made sure we wouldn't be interrupted. And it was made possible because the game lab was designed to allow for this type of experience and integrates both academic structure and cozy habitability. It was a very special moment to create this magic bubble within our workplace.
So in that lab, in that little bubble, we role-played in complete silence. We conversed in the virtual chat rooms we had created on our Discord server. Role-playing in silence could seem rather contradictory, but not in Alice is Missing. In this game, silence is not just a gimmick, but a paradoxical means of play, which we analyze through the prism of emotional safety and accessibility. In our article, we explain the paradoxical nature of silence. On one hand, it can be seen as a safety blanket that reassures and makes the players at ease, the players no longer feeling the pressure to act or voice their characters, for example. On the other hand, when silence becomes too loud, too noticeable, it can act as a straitjacket that constricts the player's moves in roleplay and create a sense of malaise or awkwardness. If silence neutralizes the bodies at play, it only further reminds the players of what is missing, whether it be Alice as the missing friend within the narrative, or the narrative gaps themselves, the silent or missing parts of the narrative that can only be filled in by the player's ludic and creative input.
As you will see if you choose to read the paper, we chose to stray away from the traditional academic style in order to incorporate some elements of our experience with Alice in Missing. The choice is both aesthetic and methodological. We decided to include the dialogical written communication aspect of the game in the creative process, as we wanted to share our experience with emotional accessibility with the game. But it led to a bit of a strange piece. Although we wanted our experience to be the main focus, we needed to add scientific references, but didn't really know how to do it. It just felt like the references, no matter how we integrated them, just broke the flow of the reading experience. And so after some back and forth with the very, very generous reviewers and the JARPS team, we settled on that theory teller model. The text can be read in its entirety without moving to the references if one is interested exclusively in our experience, but it can also be read along with the theory teller's contributions, which add analytical and theoretical depth to our reflections. We think, and we hope it makes the article both more robust and ludic, and although it was definitely our main challenge with this form, we think it truly adds to the research in general.
So we'd like to thank the JARPS reviewers, editors, and team at large, without which we could not have come to this result. Special thanks to JARPS editors Björn, Ole, Cam, and Kohei Kato for making us aware of the Japanese practice of replays, from which was inspired our theory teller. So, as Roxanne mentioned, instead of having footnotes, our theory teller is our fourth voice, which fills in the gaps of our dialogues with further precisions by creating a parallel dialogue between more of our thoughts and academic theoretical sources. We really think it gave that final ludic touch that fully realized our vision, rooted in dialogism, play, and roleplay.
So that's all for now, but we don't want to say goodbye to Alice is Missing or its town of Silent Falls just yet. Among the Güngör activities, we want to set up a workshop for our students around the game. We have a lot of other projects as well on our shelves, among which are a study of the vampire in role-playing games and multiple collaborations with other research groups in queer studies, post-colonial studies, and psychology. We hope to cross paths with you in these other projects as well. We thank you very much for your attention. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Yeah, thank you very much for a great presentation, great paper. And as you have probably seen when you had to look at the clock, we are as usual with JARPS at the end of our time. But if there is a quick question or comment right now, please shoot. Please raise your hand. If not, please.
There was a quick question in the Discord about the fact of playing online versus in person. We addressed that in the paper, and my personal experience is that in person it's a really more complex experience and a deeper experience for me, because as Beatrix was expressing it, the frame difference between the various levels is really more apparent, and there's something very interesting and deep for me about the fact that we are all together as I'd say bodies with one each other, and our virtual selves are expressing the fiction in the chat. So it was really something that really interested us.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope people will read and connect. So in the Discord, we can also already see that people share your research interests. So let's hope this can continue. And that being said, please continue discussing and talking on Discord. Our time that is interpreted here via Zoom is running out.